That first sip of coffee always wakes you up. Don't mind my hair, it's all over the place. The curls are back. It is November 13th. The election was 8 days ago. I've been trying to sit down and share my thoughts about everything, all of the craziness that just happened, and it's been challenging. I'm really disappointed, but I'm not surprised, and I'm definitely not shocked. There was so much hope around Kamala's campaign when she first became the nominee in the summer, and it felt so tangible. Like, it felt just present everywhere. But obviously it wasn't enough, you know, to get through those 107 days to the finish line. But I'm really proud of her. You know, people are pointing fingers, people are saying she didn't do this well or she didn't do that well, and you know, all of that has validity. But at the end of the day, I think she was a good candidate and she did the best she could with the little time she had. It's nice to see people like her who genuinely care about the well-being of this country. It's hard for me to talk about this election because I don't want to blame people. You know, I don't want to blame certain demographics for not doing their job or not getting out to vote. Because at the end of the day, I think it really is a party problem. I think the Democrats really need to figure out how to get their messaging across. It sucks because Hillary and Kamala are both had to go up against this extremely talented, you know, demagogue figure. Trump is really the second coming of Reagan, but I think a little bit worse, maybe a lot worse, just because of his disregard for the rule of law. We're starting to see some of these cabinet appointments and it's mind-blowing. I've been doing my best to try to stay away from the news since last Tuesday, but it's been rough. This was my third presidential election in which I voted. I wasn't old enough to vote for Obama. I was in college, but I was still 17. So I am 1 for 2 in my record. Everyone is going crazy. It's bringing back a lot of memories from 2017, 2018, when we just were living off of the news of what Trump was doing in the White House, hearing about the chaos every other day. I don't miss that at all, and I really want to try to not get sucked into that news cycle for the next 4 years. But it's already proving difficult with the crazy cabinet appointments that he's putting in. I have a lot of feelings about this election. A lot of anger, a lot of disappointment, like I said. I'm really frustrated that we couldn't just do this one thing. It was just so important for this one election, just this specific one, for Democrats to come together and really close the door on the era of Trump. I understand why Democrats might not have wanted to vote for Kamala. I understand the third party thing. This election was too important to kind of split the Democrat Party and do protest votes. That's just my opinion, doesn't mean it's right. But I felt that this election was the one to really all come together, and it proved kind of the opposite. A lot of people are able to ignore, you know, the stupid stuff that Trump says, and I get that. People want to look past that. Democrats kind of ran once again on this idea that Trump is a huge threat and he's a fascist, and that really didn't sell for a lot of people. When I say that I hope that Trump becomes like this great president and proves everyone wrong and totally turns around and does a 180, I hope that he does, because that means that people won't get hurt from his presidency. But I don't see that that's gonna happen. I'm really trying not to be all gloom and doom about it. It's 4 years, even though the effects will last much longer than that. In this post-election period where things are a little bit more still, starting to move, but a little bit more still, it's a great time to just kind of be more selfish. Take care of yourself, get into a good healthy routine, make sure you're getting your sleep. Time to focus on the important things in life, the important people in our life, and most importantly, we're gonna be there for each other just to get through these 4 years, and then we'll see what's on the other side. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that they're all too stupid to get anything crazy done. All right, time to get moving.
I can never stay away from a good farmer's market. I got cider, donuts, and some apples. New York has tons of farmers markets all throughout the city, no matter what borough you're in. And a lot of them are actually year-round, so it's good to check out. Sometimes they have them on Fridays, on Saturdays. It's a really cool thing about the city that helps independent farmers and bakers kind of get some more revenue going. It's cold out there. It is 41 degrees. I'm headed up north to the Finger Lakes to check out Taughannock Falls. It's gonna be a really cold morning tomorrow when I hike to the falls. It's supposed to be like 29 degrees. So I'm hoping there won't be many other people around, get some nice shots. So yeah, it's time to hit the road. I checked in, I got my bags upstairs in the room. It's dark now, so I can't really do much more flying the drone or exploring. That has to wait until tomorrow. I also stopped at a dispensary to pick up a joint, so I'm gonna smoke this real quick before I head upstairs and eat dinner and just chill out for the rest of the night. What are we gonna do about this country? Matt Gaetz, Attorney General? Jesus Christ.
It is layers season.
I could use some hot coffee right now. This waterfall is the highest waterfall east of the Rocky Mountains. It's 215 feet tall, and I'm pretty sure it inspired the one in Pocahontas. As y'all could probably tell, the water is extremely low because there is a drought on the East Coast. In New York, in this eastern region, there hasn't been a lot of rain, 0.25 inches of rain in the last 50 days. it is pretty incredible. Even in the barren late fall season, it's still really beautiful. It kind of looks like the water is falling at a slight angle. It's really weird. For me, it's always worth it to make the effort to get out and see nature, or just to get out and try to do something different away from your routine. There's tons of birds flying above. You can just tell that they love to fly over these waterfalls. I wonder what it feels like to be able to fly. It must be surreal. All right, time to go home. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Q&A sesh. Let's get into these questions. The first one is from Harbor Nick 3209. You travel a lot. Which mode of transportation is your favorite? Car or airplane? What's your next new country that you're going to visit? So I definitely and this is kind of new. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about this, how I really prefer to drive. If locations weren't across the ocean or 3,000 miles away, I would probably drive to most places. I prefer to be in my car, jamming out to music, stopping when I want to, being able to go when I need to. I don't love waiting in lines at the airport. I don't like sharing an aisle on a plane with people. I don't like sitting in the middle. Sitting in the middle is like the worst possible scenario of traveling, but it happens, you know. You have to deal with it if you want to go to the places that are really cool. If I ever get to Asia, which I'm sure I will at some point, I will be, or Australia or anywhere over there, that plane ride is going to take a lot out of me. So it's definitely like worse flying as I get older. And if I could afford first class and all of the nice fancy cabins where you get to lay down, I would, but I definitely can't afford all that. Traveling is still worth it, you know. What new country is next? That's a great question. I've been starting to think about next year's travels, trying to think of like new places I can go or new videos I can do. And I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I would love to get back to Costa Rica and do like an updated video where I can kind of do some of the things I did in my old Costa Rica video. If you haven't seen it, by the way, I did a Costa Rica video like 3 years ago at the beginning of my channel. And that was like my first travel video. And it was really kind of like all over the place, but it was fun. And it's a beautiful country. And there's some really amazing landscapes and things to do down there. A reason why I connect with Costa Rica a lot is because, you know, you don't go there for a gay party or a gay adventure. Like, it's not like a gay destination. It's really a nature, beach, volcanoes, like really enjoy this beautiful landscape of Central America. And I found it to be incredible. So I would love to go back there and do a better video, but I'm not sure. Some other places I really want to get to Colombia. I said I was going to go to Peru and Chile maybe when I went to Brazil in the springtime, and I didn't get to those places, so I would like to get there as well. Australia is on the list, but it's probably not going to happen next year. That's one I got a plan for. England is definitely on the list as well for Wimbledon. But I think, yeah, Europe is probably in the mix for next summer. I would love to do a few countries. When I was in college, I did a lot of traveling. When I lived in Madrid, I traveled. So I've been to like Amsterdam, I've been to Belgium, Paris. I've been to a lot of places in Europe. But I would love to go back to some of those locations so I can make videos, because I didn't have a YouTube then. So I'm sorry for the very long non-answer, but you got a few little hints in there. Jazzy J00. Do you think you and Wilson will have an official YouTube channel together, or is he okay with just being behind the scenes? I don't think we'll have an official YouTube channel together. I personally, and don't hate me when I say this, but I'm not a huge fan of the couple channel thing. And I'm not hating. I'm just speaking for myself and like my specific situation. Couple channels kind of sometimes they seem to always have one end, and that's breaking up. It's nice to be able to see gay guys having a channel and having a following and, you know, making a life together. I think that's really valuable for a lot of people out there. But personally, you know, I don't really gravitate towards couple channels. And in addition to that, I'm not a huge PDA person. I like to share my life with y'all, but I don't really like to get into the nitty-gritty of my relationship. You know, if something happens, I don't want there to be some drama. And I've made a point of having my Quincy J channel as my channel. You know, this is my life through my lens. I gotta protect my channel because this is like my little baby. I wouldn't want to turn this one into a couples channel, and I'm not sure if I have the time or the energy to make a couples channel. But you never know. If Wilson wanted to do it, he's talked about wanting to do a podcast or wanting to kind of get into social media, but I would need him to really kind of take the reins and initiate things and get it started. And of course I would help, but my primary focus right now is my channel. Next question, Dark Angel 4405. Were the coyote sounds added or were they real? Because that was hot too. So this was funny. I had to go back and add those coyote sounds in because I didn't capture them on my little camera. When we heard them, I was so in the moment and kind of freaked out that I forgot to like record. But the ones that I got from YouTube were actually from the Adirondacks, same area, and it sounded exactly the same. So I just put those in there real quick. Nice catch. Thanks for your question. All right, next question. Ryan11949. You mentioned in the previous video that you're an emotional person. I've never been emotional or cried much at all in my life until I turned 30. Since then, I started crying a few times a week at night when I watch or hear certain music or movies. I'm not laughing at you. I'm empathizing with you. I know how it feels. How do you cope with emotions or episodes of crying? What if it happens in public? I feel so new to this. This is a really touching question. I have a soft spot for this question, so thank you for asking it. It's actually a very thought-provoking question because I am someone who's always been kind of emotional, not really afraid to show my emotions for the most part. Obviously, it's not fun to cry in public. Yeah, I've always been emotional, whether that be kind of like when I was a kid, getting teased, I would get mad and lash out, being able to cry. If there's a little emotional moment, or if I'm feeling a certain type of way or I lose someone, you know, I definitely cry, but those little episodes kind of pass quickly. For me, I just try to think of the whole picture. You know, if I'm really sad about something or I've lost someone, they just kind of come and go, those little sadness moments. But it is interesting to hear from someone's perspective who hadn't previously been an emotional person your whole life. At some point in everyone's life, emotions start to affect people more. And maybe it might be because you're really stressed and you hate your job or you're going through a loss. There's always going to be a point where emotions hit you. And if they don't, then you're just like a cold bastard. You are not to be effed with. I don't know. It's something that I've done my whole life. I've just dealt with my emotions. I always joke with my mom about her side of the family and say that we have overactive tear ducts because when we would travel and go visit my grandma and then we'd leave, she'd always be crying. My mom would be crying, saying goodbye because you didn't know if you would see them again, you know? My grandmother was getting old when I was young, and because we lived 2,000 miles away from each other, we didn't know if we would see them or if something would happen in the meantime. So kind of knowing all of that brings out the emotions when you're saying goodbye. You just build up kind of like a resistance, I think. You know, the sadness is there, but it also turns into really good memories that are less sad and more, you know, touching. And that can still make you cry, but it's a different type of crying, I think. So no matter what you're going through, or if you don't really know why you're feeling certain emotions, you might just be kind of going into a new phase of your life and feeling things and seeing things and thinking about things in a different way. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't think I could tell you how to deal with it because it's different for every individual. If it happens in public, I try to hide or put sunglasses on or catch the tears And sometimes you just have to roll with it. Sometimes you just gotta let those tears fall and go. And people are gonna see, and that's life. You know, we're all human. We can't block these emotions out because they're really important to feel. I believe that whenever you're feeling these emotions, it's so important to allow yourself to feel them fully, because that's how you grow and that's how you get past things and you think about things in a better way, and that's how you heal. You have to feel those emotions, and they can be really strong sometimes. So I would just say allow yourself to feel those emotions. Think through them. If you're the type of person who is benefited by therapy, then maybe seek out a therapist to help you talk through those emotions. But yeah, it's different for everyone. So you just got to try different things and see what works for you. But the last thing I would say about that is don't feel ashamed. Emotions are human and we should feel them, and we should feel lucky to feel them because it means that our lives have significance. Next question from the Honorable Angelina Nordstrom. Hey, thanks for always watching my videos. Who are some of your favorite content creators on YouTube? I used to watch a lot of Drew Sims. He was like a Jeep guy. He did drone stuff. I got a lot of my inspiration from him. He kind of really made me want to make YouTube videos. Even though we're kind of different, I still got a lot of inspiration from him. Who else do I watch? Busy Boys podcast. I know a couple of the guys here in New York City, and they're awesome. They're talking about a lot of cool things and looking at things from a new perspective. I watch my friend Chris's channel, cdiggy1. He does a lot of varied content. He covers a lot of like the housewives, TV stuff. He talks about politics. He talks about current events and, you know, cultural stuff. So he's cool, and he's a friend as well. cdiggy1. So yeah, those are some of the people that I watch. Who inspired you to create content for everyone to enjoy? So I kind of answered this in the last question. More so it was just me wanting to find a new way to create and share content. Which Mariah Carey album is your favorite album and why? So Mariah has 15 studio albums, and it's really impossible to choose my favorite because it really depends on my mood. I usually say that I prefer Mariah's new sound. Obviously, her 90s sound is incredible. Vocals on vocals, huge range, just everywhere. But her sounds are very different, and I like the modern sound because it's more like you can really bop to it. But I guess if I had to choose one Mariah Carey album, oh man, I don't want to be boring and say Emancipation, but that album is really incredible. I love Memoirs. Most people don't love Memoirs. I love Me I Am. Caution is an incredible album. Just really vibey. I might choose Memoirs, and this is going to shock a lot of people. I really can vibe with Memoirs. You really have to be a lamb, I think, to enjoy that album. I'm not happy with saying that album, but I will say Memoirs, just to be different and unique. And then your last question was, what is glamping? Glamping is like a new glamorous way to go camping. So glamorous and camping, glamping. And I will say the place we went wasn't exactly glamorous, but we had beds. The tent was big. You know, it was really nice. Usually when you go camping, you're sleeping on the floor. Thank y'all so much for thank y'all so much for watching, and I will catch y'all on the next one. And remember, there are better days ahead. Peace.